Hey there, so I'm going to try to make a quick video on how to access Firebase using async and await, async slash await, and Promise.all. Okay, so first, okay, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to try to do. So right now I have it set up such that as soon as I get those URLs, links from Firebase, the thumbnail is going to appear here, here, like on the bottom right here. But I need to get the URL links from the Firebase. So this is my Firebase right here. If I click on here, I have this directory called user profiles, and if you go to user profiles, this is just the user ID. It's just a random code. The user ID is just a random code to identify each person. Inside the ID is my pictures. And if you take a look at my picture here, what I want is this. This is if you click on this, this is the link. This is the picture. This is the link to the picture, so you can't see it, but let me see if I can paste it here. Paste. There we go. This is huge link, and this is what I want. I want to get this link so I can get thumbnails into my program. Let me just delete that. Okay, so I'm using React. I'm using useEffect to get these. So first thing I want to do is well, let's make a connection to Firebase. So by the way, just to use Firebase, Firebase storage, more specifically the service, you need probably this here, this part. First of all, you need to register, and then you need this part of the script. You paste it on the bottom of your project, and I guess you need up here all this stuff, the Firebase config and initialize. You also need that, and I'm not going to go through that. I'm going to assume you already know how to do that, so I'm just going to jump straight into the code onto how to get those URL links. Okay, so let's get into it. So the very first thing you need to do is you need to make your connection. So I'm gonna make I'm just gonna let I'm gonna call it ref. I don't even need to do that. Let's just type in Firebase store. Maybe I should just copy and paste this. Hold on, give me a second here. Might be easier if you just copy and paste this here. Let's get rid of this, and then here we go. I'm using a variable ref. I'm not going to use this await yet. Let's just erase that. I'm going to do that in just a second. So we have Firebase, storage. We have here user profile. That's the first directory, and the UID is the second directory. But I had to get my UID first. So the UID, I saved that. The UID here. Um, that's just to get into the directory, like my specific directory, because I saved the UID for each person. So you don't need to have this. You can use anything you want. This is just to get into the second part of the directory, because I have in mine here. If you look here at the top, it's the user profile, and then there's user code, and then inside this user code, it's all this. So yours might differ, but mine is this. So I'm just gonna stick with that. Maybe I might do a simpler video later. So here's my reference here, and I'm using the listAll, right? And let's just console that so we see what that is. Console.log and then ref, and just take a look inside this. Let's go back to my program. Let's refresh the page, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's a promise. So you're getting back a promise. Let's take a look inside this promise. Fulfilled. So in order for you to get a promise, you have to use dot then. But in our case, we're gonna be doing this a little bit differently. We're gonna use async await, which I think is a far more better technique than using dot then, because dot thens can get messy. So let's do. But to use async, you have to put async in the front of the function. So async right here. And once you have async, then you can use the keyword await. Await invokes the promise and you get something back. So now we should get something back. Let's take a look. Because before we got a promise, but now we are going to get something back. And here we go. This is what we're getting back. And a lot of this is junk. But here, if you go down here to prototype, this is typically where your functions resides. Here we go. Items. First, it looks like three things in the item. So let's take a look at these three things in these items. So we're gonna go down here, we're gonna type in ref.items, and now we're gonna take a look again. Okay, it looks just three things, and it looks like here are these three things, and I believe each one of these are yeah. So each one of these things are so we want, but we're still looking for the promise, right? So not the promise. We were looking for the URL links. If you look here, you don't really see much. But if you go on the prototype again, here it goes. Get download URL as a function right there. So let's do that. Actually, let's copy and paste so it's a little bit easier. Let's go here, copy this, right click, copy, and over here, dot v, and again it's a function, then you can invoke it with that, and let's see what happens. Yep, uncaught. Okay, I must have put. I think it was item. I think we had to do item. Item. I think we skipped a step. I believe. Hold on. Actually, let's do this. Let's collect those items in the array. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna make a temp variable. Let's call it temp, and let's make it an empty list. Okay, and let's go up here. Let me just copy and paste this. So I'm using oops, let's just get rid of that. I'm using this method for each. Here we go. So I'm saying here for each item, let's call this temp. For each item, I want to push the item uh, into this empty list here. So I'm pushing each item into this empty list. And if you take a look here, if you console log that, let's console log the this array, and let's take a look what's inside. Look, more errors. Okay, let's take a look here. Ref item, ref, that's good. Items, for each item, temp push item down. Okay, that everything should be working. Oh, we forgot, we didn't close this off. Okay, temp item push. We should be able to close this off with this bracket there, and then I believe that. There we go, now that should work. There we go, we got three promises in an array. And to get these promises, we're going to use Promise.all. So first thing I'm going to do is going to make another variable. Let's call this let's call this temp2. Something simple, temp2. And we're going to use Promise.all, I believe. Yeah, Promise.all, and we're going to put temp into that because all our promises are in temp, right? And to invoke it, we need to use await. Because right now, if you try to console log this, you're not going to get anything because you didn't invoke the promises. You need to invoke the promises to get something back. So to invoke the promises, well, let's take a look at it before we do it. So it's console. Let's take a look at it before we do anything. Console log um, and temp2. Let's take a look now. And you'll see the promises are there, they haven't done anything. You didn't do anything unless you invoke it. So the promises are all here, and there's three of them, and nothing has happened because we did not invoke anything. So we're going to invoke it by using await. Now it should work. We should get back our URL links. There we go. If you take a look here, we have all the URL links here, and just so we have now. Okay, well that's basically end the video, but just to show you what I've done. So I've done it here. This is a little bit more elaborate, and it's uncomment this. So here, I've already done it. But so basically here, once you get those URL links and you put them in, you can put them in your thumbnails, and now they should show up here, all my pictures. Okay, that's it.